right, so you go through this, relatively dark period in the name of your creativity, and then tell me about the ball cancer diagnosis. I mean, what happened? Walk me through that.
Well, so one of my balls got really big.
Big?
Well, it was, yeah, it was big, man.
Yeah.
It was weird and big, and I knew something was wrong. But you think to yourself, well, I think the other day I accidentally hit myself in the balls, maybe. You try to remember something, maybe you were did squats wrong or something.
Right.
I think I was exercising at the time, so it's probably an athletic injury. And then you go on the internet
and you look up
your symptom, and it's just you've got cancer. It's just you definitely probably have cancer. And so
I feel like checking my balls right now.
You would notice, man.
Okay.
And also you're out of the age range statistically where I think people can still get it, but I was at the very end of the age range when you get it. For those of you listening, getting paranoid about your balls, it wasn't I wonder if something's wrong. It's something is fucking wrong. This is wrong.
Right.
So don't get paranoid and scared. Because
right.
a lot of guys rightfully get paranoid and scared, and they'll start feeling their balls compulsively to see if they have cancer.
Yeah.
And then that'll make your balls sore if you're always squeezing and touching them. So you've got to just go to the doctor, get a checkup. It's stupid to not get a checkup. But anyway, I went to the doctor. I still remember that day, man. I'd been writing in this cafe with this, because I'd gone to get a checkup, and I showed this general practitioner, and he's like, "Oh, no, that's bad. You need to go to a urologist immediately." So then, and that's the last thing you want to fucking hear, man.
Yeah.
And it's just anytime you go to the doctor, when you're an immortal, which is if you're a person who hasn't gotten sick yet, and a lot of people haven't,
right.
You're just I'm going to walk out of here with a big grin on my face. He's going to see the ball and be like, "Come on, man, you're fine. Get out of here, champ. You're fine."
Yeah.
So then it's you're sitting there, you can feel you can just feel this darkness rising into you. This oh shit, this could be it. This could be it. This is going to be my thing.
Yeah.
This is going to be the thing. And so then I'm writing at this cafe before I go to the urologist, and I'm just this is probably gonna be nothing. I'm gonna get in there. It's just nothing. Waste of time. Funny story though, big cancer scare. I'm gonna tell my friends I had a little cancer scare. Boy, it was scary.
Yeah.
Really terrified.
Yeah.
And I'm driving there, and then I get there, and I remember even thinking man, you're gonna be so relieved when you find out you don't have cancer. And I remember thinking, I'm gonna go buy some of those. I don't even know why I thought this, but I've been wanting those LED color changing lights you can control with your iPhone. After this, I'm going to go buy those crazy fucking lights.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It'll just be a celebration because I'm fine.
Yeah.
You get there. Doctor comes in, show him your ball. He's like, this is something, we should do an ultrasound for this right now. We need to do an ultrasound because this is definitely enlarged.
Right.
They're asking you all these questions about your past. Does anyone in your family have cancer? Well, my mom had breast cancer. And then does, it's just weird. Did your balls descend? That's what they asked. When I was a kid, which they did. But, so then the ultrasound's happening, right? So you're laying on the table. They're using this sonar device to kind of scan your balls. You're looking at the lady's face. You can't see the screen, and if you could, you wouldn't know what you're looking for. But you're looking at the lady's face because you want to see what her expression is, because you think, if she sees cancer in my ball, I'm going to be able to tell in her face.
She's going to go, "Oh, fuck.
Jesus Christ. You're dying." But they do this all day, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just a kind of a blank face. And I'm asking her, "How am I doing?
Yeah.
Looking okay?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Well, we can't say. I can't give a diagnosis."
Right.
And then suddenly you're sitting at a desk in front of a doctor, just like in the fucking movies.
Oh, boy.
When your doctor is at the other end of a fucking desk.
Yeah.
I don't know why they do that. I don't know why they want to fucking sit at a desk when they tell you have cancer. I don't know if
that's... You want them to be holding you?
Yeah, I would prefer anything. Just sneak it in or something. Point at something and then you have cancer.
Right.
But yeah, he's like, "Well, there's a 90% chance that this is cancer. And we are going to need to schedule what's called an orchiectomy, and where we're going to cut your balls off, and
both of them.
You're one,
and
we're gonna we should do it next week.
Yeah,
they don't take, they're like, and he's like, and then after this, we're going to send you down to get a CAT scan, and because we want to make sure that it hasn't spread into your lungs or into your brain.
Yeah.
So that's the moment where your hearing goes away.
Yeah.
That's the moment where this, like, suddenly you can't hear anymore. And it's the weirdest fucking thing, man. Like, you really do have that experience of seeing someone's lips moving, but you can't hear anymore because you now are a person who has cancer. And like 5 minutes before you thought you weren't. And then someone escorts you to where you go to get the CAT scan. And
right after you talk to the doctor.
Yeah. Because they're like, you have cancer. We have to get this out of you immediately. You have cancer, so there's no time to delay. This has to get out of your body. There's no time to delay. I had shows coming up. I remember asking the doctor, I was like, well, can I put off this surgery until I do the shows? He's like, you have cancer. He's like, you can't delay this thing. Like, no. Because your logical mind is like, well, I'll just this is something we'll take care of, doc, but I've got to take care of, business first. Mm-hmm. So this woman escorts you because they know that you're in shock and they know that you're not going to be able to like find your way through Cedars-Sinai. So they escort you to where that you get your CAT scan.
Yeah.
And at the time I'd just gotten into a relationship with somebody. So I'm just thinking like, shit, man, is she going to break up with me because I have fucking cancer? Like now she's dating a cancer guy, So I'm looking at like a relationship maybe ending on top of my life, maybe ending, and of course getting one of my balls chopped off, and just like, what's this going to do to my life? And then, but it's like all these thoughts are swirling through your mind. You've got to call your family and tell them, that this is going to happen. And so it is, I just can't describe that feeling. It's just a feeling of absolute helplessness. There is no escape. It's that feeling in a dream where you're like experiencing the very worst thing, and then you're like, I'm going to wake up. Yeah. And then you wake up and you're like, fuck, that was awful, but I'm fine.
Yeah, close one.
No wake up.
Yeah.
You don't wake up.
Yeah.
And so I think that was, so what ended up happening is that I had actually stage 2A testicular cancer, which meant that a couple of my lymph nodes were enlarged. So could have been cancer, maybe it wasn't cancer, didn't matter. After I got my ball chopped off, I had to get radiation therapy for a month. And that, holy shit, man. That is the most fucked up thing. Getting your ball chopped off is like quick, easy. They give you allotted shitloads of Vicodin. You just get to sort of float around your house in like an opiated one ball haze.
Yeah.
But getting fucking radiation, wow. Every day you've got to drive to this facility. You lay down in this H.R. Giger looking machine. They were playing like for the longest time, they were playing like Gloria Estefan. What's her name? Just like terrible music as you're getting irradiated. You're essentially getting your internal organs microwave, but you lay down on this thing where a lead cod piece is placed on your balls, and you lay in this thing, you can't move, and the machine sort of like zzz, 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 RoboCop style, this giant machine sort of rotates around you, it's scanning you, finds the place where the lymph nodes are enlarged, and there's this awful clicking noise, tick, 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 and then so that's it. It's over really quick. You put your clothes on, and then right around like 5 p.m., you just want to vomit. You start feeling so sick and tired, and they give you this awful anti-nausea medication that just makes you like just fucking so tired all day long. You just feel like you have mono and you want to puke. It's like being car sick for a month straight.
Ugh.
That was fucked up, man. And then after that, you have to go in, it started off like every 2 months. You go in for all these follow-up scans.
Yeah.
And then after that, you've got to wait a few days to hear if the cancer has returned and spread through your body. So you're always being like, it's not like it ends.
Yeah.
It's like you're constantly getting this weird exam that you go to where if the doctor where if something shows up, you got to get chemo now.
Yeah.
Your hair is going to fall out. You've got to get fucking chemo. So that again and again pushes your face against your own mortality. Again and again pushes your face into the impermanence of your life and the impermanence of whatever thing that you're doing. Whatever it is that you're doing. Whether you're the fucking president, whether you're a janitor, whatever the thing is that you're doing, that thing will immediately get disrupted, inevitably, by disease.
Right.
Which happens to all people.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's definitely going to fucking
How long
happen.
you been clean of it?
I just went in for, I've been clean of it for about a year, and now I only have to go in once a year, and I just went in for my last chest x-ray and everything's fine. So now it's once a year I go in and get these tests. So,
congratulations.
Thank you, my friend. But the testicular cancer is the most treatable form of cancer. There's like a 93% cure rate, if not more. So it's just terrifying. I mean, no matter what, it's fucking
terrifying. And then
terrifying.
when did your mom pass during all this?
Well, my mom passed, so that happened while I was right after my radiation therapy ended.
So it was sudden, or?
No, she had breast cancer for years.
Oh, sorry.
So, and it spread into her bones,
Yeah.
and then
Horrible.
It is horrible. Yeah, it is. It is really fucking horrible, but it's also exactly what happens in this dimension if you have a human body. You don't get bone cancer necessarily. Cancer is terrible, but
you're going to leave the vessel.
You're going to bury your parents.
Yeah.
So that definitely is going to happen, and all those things, man. It's like, you know, sometimes people will say to me, "Oh God, man, you just had the worst year ever," and I always think of that Charles Bukowski poem. That it's the broken shoelace that sends a man to the madhouse. Have you ever read that poem?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's so great. It's not the big catastrophes.
It's the last straw.
It's the little droplets. It's the Japanese water torture of life that's so much more intense, and that's kind of why there's so many.
What book is that in?
I don't know. It's I don't know.
What's it called?
Google search "It's the Broken Shoelace" Bukowski, and it'll pop up.
And this was the one that kind of knocked you out?
This didn't knock me out, but I think this is like, this is to me.
The shoelace, a woman, a tire that's flat, a disease, a desire, fears in front of you, fears that hold so still you can study them like pieces on a chessboard. It's not the large things that send a man to the madhouse. Death he's ready for, or murder, incest, robbery, fire, flood. No, it's the continuing series of small tragedies that send a man to the madhouse. Not the death of his love, but a shoelace that snaps with no time left. The dread of life is that swarm of trivialities that can kill quicker than cancer and which are always there. License plates or taxes or expired driver's license or hiring or firing, doing it or having it done to you, or roaches or flies or a broken hook on a screen, or out of gas or too much gas. The sink's stopped up, the landlord's drunk, the president doesn't care, and the governor's crazy. Light switch broken, mattress like a porcupine, $105 for a tune-up, carburetor, and fuel pump at Sears Roebuck, and the phone bill's up, and the market's down, and the toilet chain is broken, and the light has burned out, the hall light, the front light, the back light, the inner light. It's darker than hell and twice as expensive. Then there's always crabs and ingrown toenails and people who insist they're your friends. There's always that and worse. Leaky faucet, Christ and Christmas, blue salami, 9-day rains, 50-cent avocados, and purple liverwurst. Or making it as a waitress at Norm's on the split shift, or as an emptier of bedpans, or as a car wash, or a busboy, or a stealer of old ladies' purses, leaving them screaming on the sidewalks with broken arms at the age of 80. Suddenly, 2 red lights in your rearview mirror, and blood in your underwear, toothache, and $979 for a bridge, $300 for a gold tooth, and China, and Russia, and America, and long hair, and short hair, and no hair, and beards, and no faces, and plenty of zigzag but no pot, except maybe one to piss in and the other one around your gut. With each broken shoelace, out of 100 broken shoelaces, one man, one woman, one thing enters a madhouse. So be careful when you bend over.
Ah!
Yeah. That's it. Oh, feel better?
Yeah. That was cathartic. That was great.
So, to finish up here, when this happened to you, you became mindful.
Yeah.
And your spiritual practice became defined.
Yes.
And what is that?
I just meditate every day. I read and I meditate. I try not to be reactive to my anger, but when I am, I don't beat myself up over it. I don't think that I'm like, the thing that it's really, if it's given me anything, it's just given me the realization that I'm probably not going to change. You know, it's like gotten rid of that delusion in my head, and it's allowed me to really just accept that this is how I am. This is how I am. And sometimes I send shitty texts to people who fucking piss me off. And sometimes I like act happier than I am because I want people to think I'm peaceful when I'm not. But sometimes I really am peaceful. It's just it's an always changing thing. It's just giving me a chance, if anything, just to see that. Little individual flakes that are floating around in the snow globe of the self that are often hidden to us can be opened up when you sit down to meditate or run or whatever. You don't have to sit down and meditate. Do whatever. The idea is just stop moving for a second. You know, the whole fucking world is moving and moving and moving and moving. They're always like poking you with some kind of emotional cattle prod to get you to go and go and go and go and go. You don't even know what you're going for. And it's like that idea, that realization, like, fuck, you know what? I'm not going to I don't want to run around like that anymore. I don't want to do something just because I think I should be doing it. If I'm not inspired by something, I don't want to just keep doing it. So that's what cancer and dying people teach you really quickly is it's just a cliche. All the cliches, all the songs, live like you were dying, all the country songs. It's really true. There's a reason that those cliches emerge, and that's because if you've gotten into this fucking terrible trance and you're flying on copilot, or autopilot rather, you're just running around like some fucking android that's just running this repetitive loop over and over and over and over again so that you're not happy right now and you're not even trying to be happy. You're not even trying to be anything. Look how fast time flies, man. Like, think when you go on vacation. That vacation you've been looking forward to for 6 months, going to Hawaii for a week. All of a sudden you're on the plane coming back from Hawaii.
Yeah.
You were never even fucking in Hawaii because the entire time that you were waiting to go to Hawaii, you were looking forward to Hawaii into the future. You were habituating yourself to this constantly looking forward to the next thing. You get to Hawaii and suddenly you're supposed to be in the moment. Now you're just thinking about getting the most out of that vacation. Really wring that vacation. Wring the fun out of that fucking vacation. You got to get the most out of it. That's what they teach you. And then suddenly you're on the plane. Well, I think the same thing happens with your fucking deathbed. This whole life gone. And then suddenly you're like laying on your deathbed, an IV drip of morphine going into your arm. You're in some kind of hazy fog. Whoever you love is maybe sitting next to you. Maybe you're alone. Maybe no one's there. And you think, holy shit, I'm dying. And that's it. So it's like, I don't want that moment. I don't want to be laying on my deathbed. And I'm certainly not living so that I can have a wonderful death experience. But I just want to live before I die. And I know that's a cliche too, but I think there's something to be said for certain cliches.